Ah, there's that music again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hello. 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 Last time the count got to 50. What's our over-under this time?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. And there we are. Look at us.
Yeah, don't look at that. That's about 2 seconds delayed. Okay.
11 minutes. Copy. Do we know Nate's points of the race, or will we hear him? Bang.
It is a beautiful day in New York State's Finger Lakes region for the drivers of the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series to take on Watkins Glen International, one of America's greatest race courses. Today's the second day of a weekend doubleheader. A great fight for the championship continues between two teammates, while for many of the teams, it took a long night's work to be ready to be on the grid for the second half of the weekend doubleheader. And hi, everybody, from Watkins Glen International. Alan Bestwick joined by the president of Trans Am and a guy whose name is on the list of former winners in Trans Am competition here at this Speedway, Andy Lally. Thanks for jumping in with us today. What is it that makes this racetrack so special?
Watkins Glen happens to be my favorite racetrack on this entire planet. Super fast corners, big grip, perfect asphalt in many of the places that we go. And for me, honestly, no hairpins. The toe of the boot's our slowest point, but that's still a big banked hill that we roll up. So you are always fast here. The racing is good. The passing opportunities are great. And that just is an all-encompassing great recipe for the best racetrack on the planet.
So the headline driver of the day, and we've got a very close competitive field, but the headline driver of the day is young Elio Meza, the 18-year-old from Houston, who's won 7 of the last 9 races in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series, and those are the only 9 he's entered in his young career. What makes this kid so special?
It's a combination. It's never just one thing. I mean, obviously, dedication to the sport. I know that I left here around 8:30 p.m. last night, and I had checked in on a handful of trailers. He was still looking at data last night. The team that surrounds him, the fact that he's a young GM driver, the resources that he's given away from the track, and then the ability to use those resources properly. No one's going to argue that SLR and the M1 race cars aren't ahead of the game on every other aspect of this as well. So when you combine combine all of that, it comes up with a potential recipe for being as dominant as he has. He's got other great teammates, too, that have been pushing him as well. So he gets to use that data. His teammates get to use that data. So they share and strive and build on that and then push each other as well there. So without a doubt, we're seeing the beginning of probably an amazing future from him. But there's a ton of other drivers in this series as well that have great potential for future careers.
Mesa will start on the front row today. His rival for the championship, Alonde, will start close behind him. Now, this, the second half of the weekend doubleheader. Let's just say there was a little bit of carnage in the first half of it, and it was a long night getting ready to be on the grid for this second race of the weekend. Nate Dryer's down on pit road with more on that.
That's right. It absolutely was, Alan, a night of chaos and a hectic night after the race yesterday. In the end, over 20 cars took the hardship special shakedown session this morning after repairs were made last night. Just a few of the teams, Fast Auto Racing, they had to repair 5 of their 8 cars, including 3 that had front clip damage last night. They were here till the early hours of the morning. There was, of course, the incident between Jared Odrick. His team was here until 1 in the morning yesterday. They were repairing all sides of the cars, and Jared told me that for his mechanics, when he got in from the shakedown session, gave him the thumbs up, it was kind of like they had won a race with the reaction from his team. Silver Hair Racing, they had repairs on both of their cars. Noah Harmon had a mechanical at the end of the race, and then Tanner Reif had the contact with Jared Odrick. That team was here until 1 in the morning. Team SLRM1, our pole sitter, Tristan McKee, they had a mechanical during the race yesterday. They were here till about 11:30 or so as well. That's just some of the teams. As I said, over 20 different cars took the morning shakedown hardship session. It was a hectic race yesterday, and I think we might be in for a hectic and a fun one here today with a mixed-up grid and all of that work that led into racing on this Sunday.
It's the old Beatles song, A Hard Day's Night. And some of these teams felt like they worked 8 days a week just last night, for sure. So that's the setting as we get ready to go green for the second of 2 on the weekend for the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series. Up next, we fire the engines for the traditional 100-mile sprint race distance on this high-speed Watkins Glen course.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Haggerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Haggerty, let's drive together.
You can watch Trans Am all season long right here on Racing America.
There's the grid. And the 5-minute board is up. We're getting ready to go racing with the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series today here at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York. There are 34 drivers in today's field. 12 of them are under the age of 21. That's a lot of young, rising talent looking to make a name for themselves in racing.
And that's one of my favorite parts of the TA2, the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series here, is that it is a great development series for young drivers for any direction that they want to go, especially on the NASCAR side, obviously, with a 4-speed H pattern, 3 pedals, no driver aids, and late model stock car chassis here. But it is amazing to see some of these young guns come through. Tovo twins, who had their 16th birthday yesterday, obviously running really well. I watched Jackson Tovo make an awesome outside pass into turn 1 yesterday from race control up here. Ethan's had some really good races, and a lot of these young guys just really striving in this situation.
They give us some really great competition to watch. Let's meet more of the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series, Young Guns.
Trans Am should be taking every opportunity it can to be waving to the world, letting them know we're still here, we still care, we're still racing hard, and that we're different from we're this in between like NASCAR and high tech sports car racing. On the TA2 side, it's the only full-time stock car road racing championship in North America. And that makes it an extremely special, unique platform to train future NASCAR Cup drivers how to race on road courses. And for those drivers to have access to this series at such a young age, it's priceless.
I think we've got 4 drivers that are under 18. We've got another 4 drivers that are under 20 that are all under the DOP program right now.
And you get to that level and you end up with talent fairly equal to each other. Even the ones that, when I say they had that little standout talent, now there's a handful of them that had the standout talent. Now they got to beat each other.
Yeah, racing's so challenging. It's a fight against your competitors, and it's a fight against yourself. I love it so much because it's a battle between precision and balls, basically. It's like, how much can you push this race car without spinning out or crashing or hitting a wall or something? I love being on the limit and racing these cars like that.
Every time I talk to one of these real young drivers, teenagers that are here racing these full-size beasts of cars, I think of Dale Jarrett, the NASCAR Hall of Famer, who, in his day, you couldn't start driving a race car till you had an actual driver's license. And it took till you were in your 30s before you could make the top level of say, NASCAR.
Growing up as a kid, I played, basketball, baseball, soccer, all the sports you could growing up. And then I remember for my 6th birthday, my dad got me a go-kart. I remember he walked me down to the garage. He had it in a tarp, unraveled it, and I didn't know what it was. And then I remember he pushed me up and down the parking lot. Didn't even start the motor, and I was just, in awe with this machine. And then later, or the day after, we went to a parking lot, set up some cones, and I did my first kind of little track day in the go-kart. And I don't know what it was, but from that moment on, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Well, now with the go-karts and everything, and the whole world has changed so much, these kids are coming to TA2 at 15, 16 years old, but they've been racing for 10 years.
I feel like I've grown up so quick. I feel like racing has made me be older than I actually am. I'm 19 years old, but sometimes I feel like I'm 25. I feel like just racing ages you so quickly, especially when you're in it for so long. And I've been in it for 9 years now, and I just feel like it's aged me. It's made me be older. It's made me do things that I'm uncomfortable with. It's made me go out and have to shake sponsors' hands of people I've never met before, and just speak to so many different people. So it's really crazy what kind of sport we do, and how different it is from the typical sport.
You walk that way, he walked that way.
Just so much great young talent on the way. You heard from a number of them there. Tristan McKee back with the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series this weekend. Last year's champion, who stormed through the second half of the season a year ago, has moved on up the ladder as part of his role with the General Motors Driver Development Program, but he's back this weekend to get some work in at Watkins Glen. He
had an amazing save this morning in morning warm-up, had a pretty wild entry to the bus stop, and if you look at the look at the socials for Team SLR. You'll see quite a wild ride through that bus stop. But back together here again on the pole today after yesterday's race laps and going again. It's honestly it's really interesting to see Tristan, who was so dominant at the end of last year, and taking nothing away from him in the short time that he's been away. He's had to learn different feels and different skills.
Yeah.
You know, that ARCA car that he's been running, the late model stuff that he's been running, it's a different tire, it's a totally different field. So it shows you just how hard it is to hop from series to series and series and come back and be able to be right at the front of the pack there. You know, he was right in the mix in the top 5 battles as they were going on last year, but he wasn't as dominant. But that's honestly, it's expected. It's almost in a way a good thing, because he was able to compartmentalize what he's learned on the ARCA side, what he's learned in the late model, come back and still be really, really sharp.
So Tristan had a difficult day yesterday. He had some mechanical difficulties on Friday, and they came back yesterday. So his team took the moment to repair the car. The grid for today was set by your fast lap in yesterday's race. So the Legacy team took the time to reset the car, sent Tristan out, and he went and set that fast lap that has him on pole position for today's race. It's time to go trackside and get this round started. Let's head there now.
It's time for the second day of racing here at Watkins Glen and the TA2 presented by Cube 3 Architecture, race number 2 of the weekend. Today's special Grand Marshal to give the command to start engines from Road Race Ministries. We please welcome Marvin Gray.
Lord, we pray your blessing and protection on all our competitors. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines!
Well done, Marvin. And we're ready to race here at Watkins Glen International. We've had probably 3 seasons in the last 72 hours. These teams have been here at the racetrack. We came in Thursday, incredibly hot weather, some of the smog and overhang from those fires you read about from up in Canada coming through. Then yesterday we had a lightning storm that delayed the start of the morning race, and we had a huge shower. Had another front come through last night with big rain and thunder and lightning. And now today it's barely cracked 70 degrees as we get ready to go racing. It's just perfect conditions here at Watkins Glen. So the pace car beginning to roll away, and you'll see the drivers in field begin to move away from where they're gridded and roll out onto this super speedway of race courses. This Watkins Glen track been around a long time. They began racing on the streets of the nearby village. The track here since the mid-50s. It's 11 turns plus the inner loop, little over 3 1/3 miles. And they call it the super speedway of road courses for a reason.
It is, and it's one of the best places for that, whether it's the short course or the long course. The short course I honestly refer to as the Talladega of road course racing. The long course, there's a lot more to that. It gets a lot more technical, a lot more complicated. We're looking here at the bus stop chicane, the coolest chicane in motorsports. You fly over these curbs here, and you've got to keep quite a low arc and a very specific line to be able to exit into a long, gigantic radius corner for our outer loop, our inner loop, then our outer loop here, and it really loads up that left front tire, and you're dancing on that throttle pedal to keep that minimum speed up, but then shoot down that hill. Quick track walk here as we come here, rolling into turn 1, a basic 90-degree corner, but then it shoots you to a downhill exit before an exciting set of flat out in these TA2 car uphill S's, turns 2, 3, 4, light on the wheels, but then a really fast inner loop to our outer loop, down a very steep hill to what we call the laces of the boot, into the toe, with almost a 5-story climb out of turn 7 to turn 8, the heel of the boot, to the exit of the boot in turn 9, and to a very fast 90-degree left, right corners in 10 and 11, back to start finish, and an extremely exciting, extremely fast lap here at Watkins Glen.
So look at our starting lineup for today's race. Again, the field set by fast laps from each driver during yesterday's round here at the Glen. So Tristan McKee will start on pole with championship leader Elio Meza alongside. Vinny Miskelis, another one of the drivers, had difficulties at the start of the race, came back out later after repairs to his car, set a lap to get him third on the grid. Alonde is second in the championship. He'll start in row 2. Nathan Hearn from Australia's Trans Am Series. A great showing yesterday to get on the podium. He's also up there in the top 10. You look further back into the field, some of the drivers who had troubles yesterday, like Jared Ondrick and Tanner Reif, who tangled on the racetrack and are starting one position apart on the grid. Just saying, might be something to watch there in the early laps. And the rest of our 34 car starting lineup for today's Q3 Architecture TA2 Series race. It's going to be the traditional 100-mile distance today, which means about 30 laps, exactly 30 laps here at Watkins Glen. 75-minute time limit is in play if we have enough trouble. Got some great onboard views for you today. Noah Harmon will carry the Q3 Architecture onboard camera for us. Noah's done a lot of passing of a lot of people recent weeks. There's Adrian Blufstowski with our CMI on board.
Awesome pictures from these cars here. Jackson Tovo, birthday boy, in our number 30 with the old retro Toyota graphics on the car, the Nitro Motorsports Toyota Racing onboard camera.
And there's Eric Caton. Jackson Tovo and Eric Caton, two of the drivers who had problems in this morning's warm-up session and had to repair those cars significantly to be on the grid in time for the start of today's race.
That 30 car actually had the hood off on grid, making some last-minute adjustments, fixes, tunes to get us ready to go here as the pace car lights are out.
67 degrees here at Watkins Glen today. A track that will evolve throughout the race and throughout the day because it was washed free of rubber last night. Had some races on it this morning already, but these cars getting out there under conditions that are significantly different than anything they faced all weekend to this point. So they're doubled up now, coming to turn number 10. Again, it's 30-lap distance. The pace car will begin to motor away, and it will be Tristan McKee, last year's champion, with Elio Meza, this year's championship leader, alongside on the front row for the big charge down to turn 1.
Teammates add into all of that, so hopefully there's enough team orders to keep these guys in line as they come out of 11 getting ready for the green flag.
The big downhill run to turn number 1. Who gets tangled up in the first corner? Who gets through? Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series Racing is green at Watkins Glen.
Seen the 90 be a little defensive to a very aggressive Hearn, making it 3 wide at the apex of 1 just for the second row. Cars are together side by side.
Someone sideways. That's Noah Harmon got spun around. Gian Buffomani got spun around as well. Doesn't look like they received any contact from anybody else, and they're going to drive away. What a frantic first corner, and it's not done yet. Trouble at the top of the S's. Cars into the barrier, and that's a tight spot with no place to get away.
That's our points leader, Elio Meza, and Mescalis, who started on the third position as Nathan Hearn goes to the lead here.
We're still under green. It's a local yellow in that part of the racetrack at the moment. So we're under green right now. And there's another wide in the bus stop. That's the 20 car of Jay Thomas, the youngster from Nashville, in his debut in this series.
Jay Thomas had an excellent race yesterday in his debut here, running in the low teens as we see some smoke coming off some cars. Hearn and McKee side by side through the laces.
Making some contact, trading some paint. This could get rough really quickly. Nathan Hearn from Australia drives in the Trans Am Cup Series, as they call it, down under. He's their championship leader. He's a two-time champion there. Each year for the last several years, he's come to America to run a few races. And more cars off. Jim Gallagher and 71 of Eric Caton are off.
There are just some of these weekends sometimes where I get the feeling that these guys are going to be battling it out a little too crazy in these opening laps. And, man, I had that feeling. We're going full course yellow. We're getting the information from race control.
So still got trouble up there at the top of the S's. And cars sitting in other places around the race course. So no choice for race control but to put out the full course yellow. And what an exciting opening lap that turned out to be. And an opening lap with great consequence to the championship potentially. So we got at least one car stopped up at the top of the hill. That is, it looks like the 90 of Miskelis, who didn't make it away from the scene at the top of the hill. I'm trying to look and see if Elio Meza got away from up there also. As cars come down pit road, got Graham Jacobson, Noah Harmon on the pit lane early, but still waiting to see.
Meza is still up against the guardrail. That's
okay.
Our points leader. Second in points, Alon Day is currently third on track, so this will be quite a shakeup. Also, quite a cleanup here, as we're going to be fetching at least 3 or 4 cars from different points on the track here. Yesterday, after the craziness, typically when you have a doubleheader like this, one of the days is calm, and one of the days not so much. And after yesterday having one of those not so much days, I was hoping that we'd be learning from this and not seeing so many cars on pit lane for repairs after half a lap of racing here.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and we're going to start fishing through all the replays and see what we can come up with, because there are a lot of different stories to tell from a wild opening lap. We're under full course yellow after just one lap completed for the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series at Watkins Glen.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
We're live at Watkins Glen with Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series racing on this Sunday, and the opening, even first 3 corners of the opening lap has had a lead change, and the championship leader has been taken out and is pinned to the guardrail at the top of the hill in the S's. So as they cleanup continues, and there were other incidents around the racetrack as well. There's Elio Meza's car, the one left of the screen. The one to the right is Vinny Miskelis. Those 2 cars got together at the top of the hill, and those 2 cars never departed the scene as the field comes through. So the headline out of all of the incidents on lap 1. Let's take a look back through as many of them as we can here and see what we got. So there's Hearn going inside to get to third on the first corner, and Meza goes outside behind it.
Looks like the 95 might have gotten in the back of the 7 here. Yeah, definitely. There's a little bit of overlap on the entry there. Maybe not enough to call it home, but
out top of the hill. They made contact, and then it looked like Meza's car, I don't know if he had some damage there or...
I know once you lock wheels or jump up like that, you're going to keep losing that front end. Looks like we're about to see some more here. Adrian Vlastowski, the 3 car, trying to go to the inside of Sheehan here. it's much less drama than we saw on the other portions of the track there. I know we did have an incident with the 71 and the 16 in the boot, the 90 and the 28 in turn 2, the 7 and the 95 in turn 1, and then we had a couple other cars. The 19 is hitting pit road just out of our sight right now for
second time on pit road for Graham. That's Graham Jacobson.
And obviously quite a bit of action here. While again, the story, we've got a Toyota Camry up front for the first time this season, with Nathan Hearn making a one-off event for us here at Watkins Glen, and Tristan McKee close by in second, our last year's champion.
So we saw Elio Meza get out of his car. That has massive implications in the championship, because while Meza has won 6 of the 8 races that have been held this year, Alon Day's been right behind him when Day hasn't won, and he's finished second the other 2. The only time that Day was deeper than second on the grid, I think, was Road Atlanta, when he had to come from the back of the pack and still had a great finish.
Yeah, he didn't have a great opener at Sebring, but after that he's been the model of consistency. The points are definitely going to be shaken up. I don't know if we have a points as they run right now, but that's either going to put Alon just out front or just behind Meza right now, depending on where he finishes in this event, and that is quite a shakeup, considering that a handful of races ago it looked like Elio was going to be able to run away with this. So we've got a whole new storyline as far as the championship goes, and then obviously again a whole new storyline up front as this Howe chassis with Nathan Hearn is on point.
Let's take a look at some of that scrapping up front, because we saw Nathan Hearn and Tristan McKee going at it pretty hard for the top spot. Here they are side by side.
Yeah, we're getting borderline here. I tell these guys they need to leave a car width and an inch to the apex and to the exit here, and obviously the in-betweens on that is this is not a non-contact sport. These guys are able to lean on each other. They're able to push and shove a little bit. That gray area is undefined on purpose, because every corner and every situation is different, but they're going to be facing stuff like this when they get older, so we're trying not to completely shield that of them here, but there is a limit. We're getting close there. Nathan is obviously an extremely aggressive driver, wants this would be huge for him. I know his Australian compatriots are rooting for him at home and wishing him well, and I know Tristan McKee is here with nothing to lose. He's in that 48 as a one-off, wants to come back to the series, wants to make a statement, is an amazing driver, always brave on the outside. I always love that about a driver, being able to want to make that move to the outside and complete that. That's an amazing way as we look at Meza. Obviously some big right front damage, which is most likely what collapsed, which is why he was able to shot the back on the outside there, and then we see the additional damage of that rear end there.
Yeah, it's moved over, knocked out of the car, and that's tough. And of course the Vinny Miskelis car still being assisted away from the scene there. You see that car being towed away as well from where they collided up at the top of the hill. So we're still under caution. Full course yellow being needed to clean up the mess. And we'll hope to get back racing shortly when we continue here at Watkins Glen.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
How about a little flyover of the pit lane at Watkins Glen? Our Perfect Vision drone, brought to you by Perfect Vision, the official high-speed internet provider of Racing America. This historic, amazing course in the Finger Lakes region of New York State, filled with, downtown Watkins Glen was bustling last night with people here race weekend and enjoying the lake and the weather. And downtown Corning, the other end, was filled. Had a nice opening weekend event down in the Elmira Horseheads area the other night for the Trans Am race weekend as well.
Down there at Illegal, they call it. It's the old post office in Elmira there, and really neat deal there. I want to give a quick shout out as we saw the tow truck coming in with Vinny Miskelis.
Hey, our leader just pitted.
Our leader in pit lane, the 15, crew crawling under the back.
All right, we'll find out more what's going on that because our Nate is back in the paddock with Vinny Miskelis.
First I'm with Elio Meza. So the championship points leader, start outside of the front row, Elio, and unfortunately some contact there we talked about. There might be a bit of chaos. Are you okay, first off, and what happened in that contact with Tristan?
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm all good. Just got to thank all the safety equipment in the car and Team SLR for making the race car safe. But yeah, going into turn one, I got to really see a replay to see what happened. Just had a little bit of side-by-side contact with Tristan, and then going up into the S's, I think either something broke in the steering and I couldn't turn left going up the hill, and unfortunately had contact with Vinny on my outside just because I couldn't make the corner, and yeah, just kind of ended the day early, which is unfortunate because of the speed that we had yesterday, and we made a couple changes overnight to make it even better. But these things happen, can't really control it, and not really. I mean, obviously bummed that I missed out on the race, but these things happen. So, yeah, we'll recoup, we'll work hard, and I think the team's going to try and see if they can fix it so we can at least make some laps. So if there's other contact on track, we can at least salvage some points for today. But, yeah, definitely not how I wanted to end today.
Yeah, unfortunate end, possibly today. The team said maybe there's a chance to get in the car back out there, but thanks for talking to us. Glad you're okay.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Elio Meza, championship points leader, out early here at Watkins Glen.
All right, thanks. So there's the rest of the story. The contact with Tristan McKee causing a mechanical problem. That's the race leader under the full course yellow, Nathan Hearn, on pit lane. Having attention paid to the back of his car. They're torquing the lug nuts on that left rear tire. So we'll get a follow-up on that in a minute. But there you go, from first back to the end of the pack for Nathan Hearn, who was the race leader. And now Tristan McKee is out in front.
And that's a valuable extra few points for Alon Day as he starts thinking about that potential championship lead here by the time the checkered flag falls here. I think Elio's crew is being quite optimistic as we take a look at it here. There's no way that's going back on track today, unfortunately. I'd love for him to be able to get some more laps at such a famed circuit, but unfortunately we're not going to be on there. Same thing with Vinny. Vinny Meskelis is working in the shop at Nitro, working hard just to get an opportunity to do a race here or there. There's no sponsorship on that car. He's hustling. Nick Tucker at Nitro Motorsports helping a young driver get into a seat like that. I love to see that happen. I love to see that kid's hard work. He's deserving of more, and I certainly hope that Vinny can get back in the series with us and get another shot.
Let's hear from Vinny quickly as we're coming back to the green. Nate?
Yeah, quickly, Vinny. Andy was talking about it. You're one of the hardest working guys in the paddock. Got a good starting position today. Tough end of the race. Take us through the incident from your perspective. What happened there?
Yeah, just so gutted, right? Starting P3, we had a really good chance at a great finish today, and going up through the S's, kind of able to get a crossover and get a run on those guys. And then I think Elio had a issue. Something broke from his contact with Tristan, and I just got put in the fence. I nowhere to go. Just hated for all these Nitro Motorsports guys. My crew chief, Jerry Baxter, my mechanics, Nick Tucker, Leon, Ricky, I mean, just hate it. Had such a rough weekend with a lot of issues, but they were great, never gave up, and gave me a really fast car. We made some adjustments, and we were really great in morning practice, and just hate it for them, too, because I think we would have had a really, really good shot at doing something great here.
Thanks, Vinny. Back to green, Alan.
A little bit strung out here as we get them rolling. Quite a bit more strung out. I'm not sure what happened around the 7th, 8th, 9th spot here to cause that backup, but we're rolling again in line, and Tristan McKee is on point and trying to pull away from a charging Alonde.
So Nathan Hearn came off the pit lane 28th for the restart and trying to catch up to the field. So it's Tristan McKee the leader, Alonde second, Ethan Tovo third, Thomas Merrill fourth, Gavin Gleitzman is up to fifth. Sixth is Jackson Tovo. Jared Audrick leads Pro-Am. He was seventh at the restart. Running eighth is Joe Fodero. Laney Bice is ninth. Tom Sheehan is second in Pro-Am, and he runs 10th overall in the race. So here's the fight for the lead. 48 is Tristan McKee, and 17 is Alonde, who stands to have a massive day in the championship as we have a look at Jackson Tovo at work.
Jackson Tovo been super impressive here. Along with the 51 of Gavin Gleitzman, been two very strong young up-and-coming drivers here. We see Jackson's brother running P3 here. Both Tovos in the top 6. A very strong day for those Nitro Cope cars, and a really strong effort here. Thomas Merrill, can't leave him out. Really, I mean, always a guy thrashing that car and driving hard in P4, wanting to make his way onto his first podium of 2026. A past winner here at Watkins Glen is Merrill, multi-time winner in this series, but won as recently here, I think, as 2024.
Yes, Thomas was the winner here in 2024. Exactly right. Laney Bice, Jared Audrick there. That's Bice getting by Audrick, so move Laney up to 7th spot. Jared still the Pro-Am leader, but he's running 8th overall.
Laney Bice has been very impressive, not just on speed-wise, but we had a chat yesterday. I got to watch a bunch of onboard cameras. We were watching the craziness. She brought home a perfectly clean car yesterday in the midst of that Audrick Tanner. Oh,
who's that off the pace there? Got one slowing and coming to a stop.
I think that might be the 19 or the 30. Is that Tovo? We're trying to get a better view.
Trying to look and
guys.
see on the scoring tracker who isn't moving.
I thought I saw a 30 here.
I think it's Jackson Tovo who is rolled to a stop. And trying to keep an eye on that car and see if he's gotten it going again, and if we're going to be able to continue or have to put out another caution. There he is. He's gotten it going again. Okay.
Interesting. What would have happened? He was very smart. Got off the racing line. Got on the brakes. Got out of the way of traffic, and then was able to fix whatever the issue was. Ethan Tovo now closing on these two leaders. They're not even fighting. He's just got raw pace to close that battle up. He had quite a challenge from Merrill on the restart. Was able to stay on the outside of one and is now closing that gap to the M1 teammates of McKee and Alonde.
So leaders come across the line and put the 7th of 30 scheduled laps on the board. Remember, there is a 75-minute time limit, which, if we have a few more full course yellows or another 1 or 2 longer ones, could come into play in deciding the end of this race. But right now it's McKee, Day, Tovo, Merrill, Gleitzman, Bice, top 6. Then Jared Audrick leads Pro-Am in 7th. Adrian Vlhovstovsky is 8th. Jace Denmark is up to 9th. Joe Fodero runs 10th. It was indeed Jackson Tovo who has fallen back to 27th position, though is still on the lead lap and is still going. Information up from Nate on pit road is that it was a loose wheel on the Nathan Hearn car.
Oh, man. That's a tough one to swallow when you're in that situation, but good heads-up call not to ignore that, not to think it's pickup, not to think it's something else, and to take the time and understand that that's the real issue and you got to pit. It's so tough to pull out of the lead into the pits to check something like that when there's any possibility that it could be something that's not so important and is going to go away here.
And you know, we talked about the super speedway of road courses. It's called that because the speeds, as we see Adrian Vlhovstovsky and Jared Audrick with a little moment.
It's tough to try to make a move on the outside of the boot. Jared getting very defensive. We saw him driving defensively yesterday. Nothing illegal. You're allowed to throw the block, especially if it's premeditated and not in reaction to. Adrian Vlastowski, honestly, trying to get as close as he can so that he can either crisscross or catch him out. But we've got a stack up here, which is going to be Jared Odrick in P7. Impressive for an overall position for a Pro-Am driver, and he is battling like crazy for those guys in 8th, 9th, and that rounding out that top 10. And big shout out to Joe Federal here in the 2 car, not a full-time runner with us, new to the series, and doing an incredible job of keeping pace here with some veterans.
Had some damage in the race yesterday, came back for a 12th place finish for the driver from Austin, Texas, as Audric lights up the brakes. There he is, that 2 car. There is Joe Federal. He was a former high jumper at the University of South Carolina track and field.
Big oil coming out of the right front of Odrick here. It happened under braking. It looked like a lockup initially. I can't tell if that's oil or not. We don't see these guys slipping and sliding behind him, but obviously a problem here. I don't know whether that's a fender dragging from contact. It seems like a lot of smoke for it to be rubber. That's oil. That's coming out of both ends. That's an oil line. That's something going on here.
Yeah, that's not going to make it far. Jared Audric had problems in yesterday's race. Championship leader coming into the weekend in the Pro-Am standings. Cale Phillips getting his first win in the Pro-Am yesterday. And for Jared, they had to do a pretty significant repair on this car this morning. People slipping behind him.
Big time slipping behind him. We can see the 3 car lost a position back here. All those guys slipping and sliding. We got to get that car off the line. We see the 2 car sliding in his oil here. We're going to have a lot of pickup here. This crew's got to get in touch with him and see him here. I know he's probably rushing back to pit lane, but we're dropping way too much oil there. These guys moving to that inside. Oh, this is going to be a tough spot for our guys following that car.
You saw the windshield of the Adrian Vlastowski car. You're seeing it here. And it has a coating that it didn't have before.
Yeah, and we're seeing cars spinning through that oil here as Doug Winston in the 98 getting rolling. Coming through the toe. We're probably going to have an oil flag out in a bunch of different areas here.
So waiting to see what goes on with Doug Winston's car, if he's able to get it fired up and rolling. Noah Harmon's got a flat tire. It's tough for the driver who started the weekend 3rd in the championship. He's had a rough weekend here.
This has been a tough spot. His speed has been great. He was running in podium position on the first day, but obviously this is tough as we see the 00 come to pit lane after oiling down a good portion of this track here. Hopefully the leaders are going to get here for the first time, and it hopefully won't be too bad for them.
So we'll stand to green. Doug Winston has fired his car up and gotten away from where it came to rest in turn number 7. So we do stay under the green flag as we come up on the 1/3 mark of our race. Tristan McKee continues to lead, but Alonde is hanging right there with him, as is Ethan Tovo, that 3rd car in line. So a couple of Chevys and a Toyota at the head of the line here in our race. There is Jared Audric, new sponsor on board this weekend, the Pop Art Snacks people, and you can see that is not going to be good.
No, unfortunately, he's most likely done for the day there. This is great, though. I love seeing Ethan hanging on the back of these guys and closing up. Set some really fast laps now. Ethan Tovo with fast lap of the race at a 150.5.
Yeah, and another one off the pace. As you see the leak coming out from under the Jared Audric car.
Yeah, when you can see a puddle from 200 yards away, you know that there was a lot of oil coming out of that ride, unfortunately. It happened under braking into turn 1, so we're not sure if something let go in the motor, if a line let go.
And there's significant repairs to the front end of that car overnight after being involved in an incident during yesterday's race. And, you know, when you're making those cram course repairs, well, we saw it this morning in the morning warm-up. There was a car that had an oil fitting fail that had been in an incident yesterday and left some oil around the inner loop, and a bunch of other cars spun behind him, one of which was Jackson Tovo that wound up getting into the barrier. And that team had to do a thrash to repair the nose of his Toyota between the morning warm-up and the green flag of this race. There's a lot going on in this one,
This is so our last double at Sonoma was pretty drama-free. It was green flag to checker nonstop. I think we had one little yellow at the end of the second one, but we were 95% green flag laps, and we show up across the other side of the country to our second doubleheader, and it's quite the opposite. So I'm sure I'm going to get mixed reviews on putting doubleheaders on the schedule for the 2027 season here. It's not going to be an easy choice on what or how to go about this stuff. Obviously, we had a handful of teams here till very late last night fixing some issues. But it's still producing great racing. Some of it is just got to be some of it is definitely the loosen up behind the wheel.
Yeah,
we gotta, been there, done that, buddy. I can take the blame as well for being one of those antagonizers or instigators, whichever side of the argument you want to be on here. It's tough to have the right mentality for a doubleheader weekend when you're looking at a championship.
Just remember, you're the one raised your hand, said you wanted to be president of this whole thing. Hey, want to get closer to the Trans Am action? Tune in to Racing America and watch Road to Glory. It's a really well-done docu-series covering the Trans Am Series 60th anniversary season. We go behind the scenes, give you all kinds of great profiles, get to know these drivers and what they do when they're not at the racetrack. It's you won't find it anyplace else. Road to Glory all season long on all Racing America platforms.
Kevin Mooney is the producer, the cameraman, the everything behind that deal, and he does such an amazing job, and it's really great to see.
So Noah Harmon, I mentioned earlier, third-place driver in points entering the weekend, has been on pit road for a long stay. He's headed back onto the race course. Jim Gallagher, one of the Pro-Am drivers, is on pit road after getting turned around earlier in the race, after his team spent late into the night repairing significant damage to the front end of his car. And again, Jared Audrick still on the pit lane with his crew trying to see what, if anything, they might be able to do. Here's the race lead. It is Tristan McKee, 48. Alon Day, 17. Day continuing to apply the pressure. Ethan Tovo in that red and white number 10 Toyota hanging right with them in third. Thomas Merrill has fallen back about 4 seconds in his Cope Racing Ford. In fourth place, Gavin Gleitzman, a young guy out of the Chicago area, 16-year-old, who's qualified fourth now, like 3 of the last 4 or 4 of the last 5 races, trying to put the finishes together.
Exactly, trying to get that, trying to round out that great weekend. He's had some good results here. Obviously, running in the top 5 for Adrian Vlastowski's fast squad here, showing very well for them. And he'd be extremely happy, I think, to come home here with a top 5 finish. This is one of those places that they got to test here. So did the 2, so did the 3. Teammates here now battling inside the top 10 for that 8th spot here. That's got to be tough. So just a little story, a little heads up, that 2 car of Joe, that's not only his teammate behind him, that's his team owner. So you've got quite a dynamic here of who wants by. And then just in front of them is another teammate. So we're running 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. As I think, did Jace Denmark drop out of?
No, he's right there in 7th.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's not. Yeah, sorry. I was looking. That's not Gavin in front of them. That was Jace. Jace also running super strong. Another driver who's hasn't been in here full time. Would love to have him full time when he can put the deal together. He put this deal together to run with TRB, Troy Brenner, and those guys here like on Wednesday, last minute, and here he is running single digits, well inside the top 10. Super strong driver, very good young talent coming from open wheel, making the transition through touring cars, through TA2 cars, and obviously showing that he can drive anything, anywhere, anytime.
Running down the hill now into the boot. Watch the speeds here as these drivers tiptoe around this downhill corner with the banking falling away from you. Now accelerate up the hill into the toe of the boot.
This is it's hard even on video to look at this and see what kind of climb this is here. Down mid-60s on the mile an hour. You're climbing almost 5 stories up this hill here. Until you're really standing or camping out at the toe of the boot and watching these guys come through, it is really hard to get a good picture of what that climb is. A downhill brake zone again now to the heel as we see the 2 run wide, and Adrian Vlastowski take advantage as they're going to go 2 wide to exit the boot, crisscross each other again. Adrian got to be a little more tiptoey than he would maybe normally with somebody that's not under his tent, whose car he doesn't have to have his mechanics fix the next day. For sure, I think there's some different factors that come into play there.
So this is the race for 8th and 9th position. Closest race in the top 10 at the moment between Joe Fodero in the 2 and Adrian Blostowski in the 3.
A little further back here, we're seeing the 97 Tom Sheehan running 11th overall, second in class. Or is that our Pro-Am
leader
That's
now?
our
Yeah,
Pro-Am leader. So Tom Sheehan had an awesome drive yesterday. He got a penalty for a drive-through, but the rest of his race, 99.9% of that race, was fast. He was able to get a drive-through, come through the pits, and still drive back through the back of the field and get back on the podium. Today, trying to make a big comeback and a big statement and take a TA2 Pro-Am win here at Watkins Glen, running just outside of the top 10. If he can get to single digits here, that'd be a very, very impressive run as a non-full-time guy to be able to come here, have a great drive in that 97 Vixen Ford Mustang, and have a good result here. We're rooting for him here in the booth.
Tom, veteran driver from Bow, New Hampshire, and in his 13th Trans Am race here at Watkins Glen. Jared Audrick's Trans Am race at Watkins Glen has ended. He's with Nate.
Yeah, it's been a tough weekend for the Pro-Am points leader coming in, Jared Audrick. Big oil leak has retired the 00 car. What did you feel? What has the team indicated to you the cause of the leak was?
Yeah, there was an oil line that had broken. I'm not sure if it was loose. It looked pretty tight, but it was up near the front right tire. And so what ended up happening was I had no grip or traction out there for about 2 laps. I started pushing up through the S's, and I'm like, I don't know what this front right is doing. But yeah, it was not good. I started smoking the last 2 laps and had to pull it in.
All right, sorry for the tough end of the day, and we'll see you in the booth in a little bit for that TA race.
Yeah, I just wanted to apologize about yesterday. My stepson, he really has a lot of anger issues, and so I was really trying to calm him down when I pulled up to him on track. Me and his mom like to really joke about his anger issues. We call him Wreck-It Reef, like Wreck-It Ralph, but we're all just jokesters here. He'll be a good kid from here on out, and I think he'll behave.
Thanks, Jared. Back up to you guys.
Well, on that note, I'm going to transition to his new sponsor, Pop Art there. I stole probably 5 bags of that popcorn there. The Hawaiian avocado oil is my favorite. They've got a rosemary, they've got a cheddar, but that Hawaiian avocado oil-based popcorn was a huge favorite of mine. I loved it. I'm going to keep going over to Troy Brenner and stealing cases out of their hauler there. Hope to see them back. Thank you for sponsoring a TA2 car and coming on board with us here.
And as Nate mentioned, Jared Audrick's going to join me in the booth for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli race. Oh, got a car in trouble.
Jay Thomas, he was running 12th, was on his debut weekend, his second ever TA2 race after a strong run in the low teens yesterday. Obviously some left front suspension damage there as we enter the outer loop. Maybe contact. We see a couple of donuts on the door there. This is most likely going to bring out a full course yellow here.
I'm trying to figure out how the car ended up there and that damage to that left front, because you'd look at that and say, okay, he hit the outside wall driver's left.
Yeah, I think there was probably potential contact with a car, whether it was right there that finished it or whether it was early in the race like we saw. It happened immediately or seconds later with Elio and Tristan. That could have taken a little bit of time. Also, these curbs are big. These guys fly these curbs here. And when you get a doubleheader back-to-back weekends, sometimes these things get beat up and parts fail and whatnot. This course, this racetrack tests every race car. People talk about Sebring, they talk about the 24 Hours Daytona, they talk about racetracks like that. Watkins Glen, with the amount of grip that it has and the size of these curves, you see them flying over right there. They're literally airborne a couple times every single lap. It beats up these suspension pieces, and we might have seen that happen there.
Local yellow is out in that section of the race course leading into and out of the inner loop, but so far we have not seen a full course yellow to have to go retrieve that car. I think it's coming, though, quite soon. In fact, maybe right now.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
So
So if these crew chiefs are smart, they're talking to their guys, they're telling them this is probably going to come, save your tires here, no bonsai passes, let's get everything in line and reorganize. We know we're going to pack up, we know we're going to have another exciting restart. I want to talk my guys' adrenaline down, I want to ask what that car's doing, what's it handling like, what can we do, what can that driver do, thinking ahead for strategies of you can now have a cool, calm, collected conversation where he's not worrying about taking away bandwidth from his performance of his driving on what these guys can take. They're not going to pit for changes, but they're going to potentially strategize about who's what and where. You get an update on potential people that you're fighting with in the championship, where they're at on track. There's a whole lot to talk about now if you're a smart crew chief, smart engineer, to get your driver in the right frame of mind.
We're halfway through the race at Watkins Glen and under the second full course yellow of this one.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy to make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
You're gonna find that I'm the most boring guy for those questions.
Go to the restroom.
Pray. I always pray every single time I'm in the car.
I pray.
I always like to listen to calm music and calm myself down and get really locked in pre-race.
I always listen to music.
Pray.
Listen to Africa by Toto.
Maybe an engineer.
At home, asleep.
I'd probably be a golfer.
I would be a pilot.
Singing.
I think I would be like a watch salesman.
A fighter pilot.
I'd probably work at a car dealership or something, just anything with cars.
Probably a golfer.
Trying to figure out how to race. Oh man, I'm just so happy to be here all the time.
It's really hard to find a good cup of coffee.
Qualifying interference.
People sitting on their phones, walking around the paddock, especially when you're trying to drive to grid.
I don't know. I don't have any.
Okay.
I'm a calm guy.
Dirty drivers.
I don't have any. I love being at the track. Yeah, I can't think of one.
What's your biggest pet peeve about your brother?
He gets annoying sometimes.
I'm with Matos. That's my biggest pet peeve is people that slow down on their qualifying lap. You hear me say this at every single driver's meeting.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Are we lights out?
No. Just lifted the code 60, so beginning to bunch up the field behind the safety car and get the restart order ready to go as we wrap up our second full course yellow of today's round 9 of the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series, live on Watkins Glen. Don't forget, later today, we'll have the Trans Am Series by Pirelli, 1:30 Eastern Time for the green flag in that one. So right here on Racing America, wherever you're watching this race today, we'll be back at 1:30 today with the Trans Am Series on this high-speed super speedway of road courses. So Tristan McKee and Alon Day have run 1-2 for all except the opening lap of the race, basically, with Ethan Tovo third, Thomas Merrill fourth, and Gavin Gleitzman fifth. Laney Bice is sixth, Jace Denmark seventh. Adrian Vlastowski did get around Joe Fodero for eighth. Fodero's ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is now Tanner Reif, who's moved up after his car was repaired from yesterday's incident. Let's check downstairs with Nate.
Yeah, you mentioned Tristan McKee that's been leading this thing pretty much since the beginning. It's been a wild weekend for Tristan, making his return to Trans Am. Was fast in the test sessions, both on Friday, then had engine issues that plagued the team early in the practice session. They had to do a complete engine change on Friday before qualifying, and then yesterday a rough day for him as well, continuing some of those engine issues. And then even in the morning warm-up session, the shakedown, he had a little bit of contact through some of oil that had been put down on the racetrack and touched the back end of the car off a little bit on the barrier, but they were able to get it repaired. He's obviously out there, checked with the team, said maybe just running a little bit hot for Tristan after some of that initial contact, but letting it cool back down, and he's happy. It's been a wild year, a wild weekend for Tristan McKee. He's won pretty much everywhere, and he is leading things right now and at the sharp end of the field again in Trans Am.
Just 15 years old, going to turn 16 on August the 3rd, is Tristan McKee. Driver originally from Williamsburg, Virginia, and was last year's youngest ever champion in the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series. Back for his first time this year, leading the race as we come for a restart. Lights out on the pace car, and we'll have a single file restart when they come back around to turn number 11.
Had a good restart on that last one. It's always interesting to see who fires off fast. When I'm looking at young drivers and their potential for the future, it's how good can they feel a relatively cold tire, and how quickly can they fire off. That's one of the most impressive things that we've seen about Meza this year, is when he's had the pole, what he fires off to. When you come around to complete lap one, what's that gap? And it's been pretty impressive. Tristan McKee was doing the same thing last year. I've noticed the Tovo twins are really, really good at that. But one of our scrappiest guys in the field was one of our veterans of the series, Merrill, sitting in fourth here. And then also, I tell you, it's only been a handful of races that we've been able to witness Gavin Gleitzman, but he's got the bit in his teeth, and he is not afraid to go at it here. So our entire top five here is a pretty scrappy group and ready to roll.
Is that the driver's access door panel on Thomas Merrill's car hanging down there? What's hanging down from the driver's side?
Yeah, that is a fiberglass door. Shouldn't be a big deal. We usually let that slide, and it's on a hinge, so it'll probably stay there. It'll be a bit of an aero disadvantage for him, but yeah, just a piece of glass off the.
And through the safety netting, that driver can't reach over and pull that back up. Looks like we've added another lap to the yellow flag, as the double yellows are still standing.
Verano on the hood of that 68. Jace Denmark putting some sponsorship together here last minute here. I love our drone guys. They're up on the roof here piloting these things around. We get some amazing shots. I keep telling them I'm not going to be happy till we write one of these things off trying to stick it in the window of these drones here. But really cool view of that TRB Future. I should have practiced saying that a whole bunch, but Future and Verano on board with that 68. Much appreciated as we get some amazing, unique views from our drone footage that you don't normally see from your typical racing coverage, but you're getting cutting-edge, cool stuff from the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Championship here.
You're watching this broadcast on Racing America, and if you're joining us for the first time, there's a lot more to check out. Log on to racingamerica.com and get all your favorite racing news, grassroots live streams from across the country, behind-the-scenes NASCAR Cup Team content, and, of course, all the info you might want to find on the Trans Am and TA2 Series. Check us out, racingamerica.com.
I mentioned Cube 3 Architecture, our series sponsor, has been for many years now. We want to wish Nick Middleton a very big get well soon. He has been at most of our races. He's recovering from a surgery right now. Nick, I know you're watching. We're all thinking about you. We all wish you a speedy recovery and hope you're back to the track very soon.
So just joining us, and yes, I echo that to Nick. Just joining us, headline story of the day, championship leader Elio Meza taken out in the S's in the opening laps after contact with Tristan McKee, had a mechanical failure. He collected Vinny Maskelis. Meza is going to finish 31st in this race. His rival for the title and teammate Alon Day is running right now second. Also, the Pro-Am Championship leader entering the weekend, Jared Aldrich, out of the race after a mechanical failure. His rival for that title, Cale Phillips, is on the racetrack and running second in Pro-Am right now. So we might have some big shakeups in our championships with just 3 rounds remaining in the season at the conclusion of this race today.
Yeah, this is definitely going to shake everything up quite a bit here. We just had an in-car camera view from Eric Caton. He's running 14th with 34 cars in the field, and knowing that he was off and parked on lap 1 in the toe of the boot, that's quite a come-up for the 71 driver there. Eric Caton doing a great job coming back through this field. Again, knocking on the door of that top 10 here with Stanton Barrett right on his nose here. Eric Caton here, part of our connection with Race Skillman Auto Group, who is the provider of our 2026 Mustang GT car that is pacing this field right now. Huge thanks to them. Great partnership. Awesome car. I got to drive it around Watkins Glen, giving some of our fans some hot laps this weekend. I got fired about 8 laps into it because they said I was burning the brakes up too much, but it was an absolute blast driving that car around here. There we see that Mustang 5-liter Ford pulling back into pit lane as we get ready to come back to green flag here.
So there'll be 11 laps to go in the race, 26 minutes left in the allowable time. Depending on how many more yellow flag laps we might get, it could come into play. Tristan McKee leads. Alon Day is second. Ethan Tovo third. Thomas Merrill is fourth. Gavin Gleitzman is fifth. The green is back out at the Glen.
Nose to tail, pretty good start. A couple guys peeking out from the inside. We're too wide, looking way deep on the inside. It's Gleitzman to the inside of Merrill, but then gets passed here by Laney to the inside. Laney again, just been quietly creeping through this field with great racetrack craft. Again, a car without a dent on it as she moves her way into a top 5, a very scrappy top 5 field, as we see Denmark now taking advantage of the pace of Gavin coming out of there, and I think his teammate Adrian is going to go around him as well. So quite a shakeup to start this race here.
Gleitzman had difficulties on the last lap of yesterday's race. This restart, he went for a move and something's gone wrong, and he's still trying to recover his momentum. There's that 51 car sliding back in line now. He'll be back 8th in the running order after trying to make a move to pick up 4th into turn 1.
Big action here on our restart. Those are the fast cars now running nose to tail, 7th, 8th, and 9th, as McKee apexing the toe of the boot here with Alon Day in tow. Alon's got to be thinking, man, like, this is an incredible point stay. That is my teammate in front of me. I can't take too much risk to get here. Obviously, he wants a W. I know Alon. He definitely wants a W. Yes. He's a very aggressive driver here. We see Eric Caton trying to make his way on Tom Sheehan there back in about 11th.
Yeah, that's a great recovery drive for Eric Caton. He tried to avoid an incident yesterday, got off in the grass and hit one of those, you see the one laying down there, a signboard like that ripped up the splitter on his car. As a sideways off of that corner was Jackson Tovo.
I want to bring it back to Laney Bice here. Picked up some Sunoco sponsorship, got sponsorship from Roaring Pines. A super solid job. Just I say quietly working up. I'm sure inside that car it hasn't been quiet anything. It is an absolute thrash as these drivers push and fight their way through this field here. Jackson Tovo using up all that road on the exit there. Jace Denmark a little loose. There's Laney coming through our S's there. Just starting to spread out a little bit. Really happy to see we were able to get through another good restart, 2 in a row here. I think that's Jace throwing a block on Adrian, fighting for 7th, coming into the S's here. 6th, sorry, coming into the S's here. Gavin trying to make up some ground again. Adrian Vlastowski's coming on at the end of this race. He was super strong in practice, super fast. They had tested here, found a good setup. Just went a little bit awry yesterday, as it just wasn't the best car for him. It was kind of mediocre, I think, if you asked for Adrian's opinion on his finish. I know he wanted to be up higher than that, but it looks like he's got a little bit better car under him today as he's charging forward here.
Mediocre was not the word he used to describe it when I talked with him in the paddock afterwards, but he said they had an idea on the adjustments to make. Basically said yesterday they went for a long-run car, and the race turned into a series of short sprints. So today they were going to go for a short-run car, figuring that pattern would repeat itself. And we have had a couple of full course yellows already in the first 2/3 of this race.
Adrian using up every bit of asphalt possible on the exit of the heel of the boot there as we transition to the exit of the boot here. Nose of the car looks good. Looks like he's putting down power well.
So this, again, the race for 6th place. Jace Denmark in 6th, that 68 car for TRB Autosport. Jace, a 22-year-old from originally Phoenix, now living in the Indianapolis area, made the transition to Trans Am and Q3 Architecture TA2 Series racing after being on the open wheel Road to Indy ladder for a few seasons, and trying it with a tin top and fenders on it, if you will, at this point. That's Gian Buffalmoni's damaged car. Remember, he got knocked around in turn 1, lap 1, and trying to rally his way back through. He's come back to 11th spot after stopping on pit road a couple of times, that red and black 95 Toyota. And there's your Pro-Am leader right behind him. The 97 car, the orange machine, is Tom Sheehan, running 12th overall. He's the Pro-Am leader. Cale Phillips is 2nd in Pro-Am, running 16th. And James Lebecco is running 3rd in Pro-Am, running in 17th position overall. Lebecco started the season winning the pole for the first ever TA sprint race down at Sebring, Florida. Came here this weekend. He's put the car into the TA2 field, and I'll bet he's got a smile, a huge smile on his face the way it's going today.
And absolutely, with 34 cars, 17th is the top half of the fold. That's a very impressive run to be in podium contention for Pro-Am, having not done a ton of these races. That's great. We want to see more of that. We want to see more of our TA sprint guys that dip their toe in the water here, try out Pro-Am, and come up on through the ranks here. Obviously, a great run so far. Knock on wood for Mr. Lebecco here. Talked to him earlier in the weekend, and he was psyched to come here. Very much likes Watkins Glen, and a really, really, really strong effort here. We were focused on Gian a minute ago. He is another car that was backwards, exiting turn 1 on lap 1. So that's an impressive run to get back up here into 11th, get back by all those cars.
We got a car off the pace over in turn 6, Andy. Sorry about that. Try local yellow waving at the exit of the inner loop and over in turn 6 as you watch Jackson Tovo try and work his way around Tom Sheehan. Remember, Jackson lost power. Full course yellow. We got a car in trouble into the wall in turn number 6, which is the exit of the carousel and the entry to the boot. There it is.
I think it's got a 4 on it.
Is that the Matt?
Oh, that's Matt Gray in the 64. Car? Matt Gray in the 64, unfortunately, is stopped on the inside, so maybe not some big damage there. Looks like the rear wings.
Oh, there you go.
Well, never mind. That's a telltale of quite an aggressive hit there, and that's pretty early.
I wonder if he fired that up and tried to drive away, and that's how he ended up where he is now from where that impact barrier is.
He might have only made it that far before he realized that the front end damage is too great on that. I'm guessing it's front end damage because we still see a wing on there.
Yeah.
With the tires stacked and band like that on Watkins Glen. But see how early up the hill that is? We're going to get a replay here.
Watch right center of the screen here. Coming at you from the right.
Oh, wow.
Oh, contact maybe with another car.
Maybe. It looks like the 53 and the 64, I think, got together yesterday, or at least were involved in a similar incident in the outer loop just a turn before that. Unfortunately, that was a pretty big hit. That's going to end Matt Gray's day and put a stop to the action that we had here with 18 minutes, 45 seconds left in this battle here. We're definitely going to end up on time here.
Looks that way.
Hopefully this is quick enough that we at least get a 10 or 12 minute shootout for the W here.
Safety there with Matt Gray. Matt, the 64-year-old from Chaska, Minnesota, in his Ryan Company's Ford Mustang for TRB Autosport. Matt was talking with me this morning about being third in the Pro-Am standings. It was a big deal to him, but today is not going to end up on the plus side of the equation where his championship is concerned. So full course yellow out with 8 laps or 18 minutes to go in our Q3 Architecture TA2 Series round at Watkins Glen.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, all for less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.
My name is Noah Harmon, and you're watching Trans Am on Racing America.
Thank you, Noah. We're live at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York for the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series. This is round 9 of 12 in this 2026 campaign, the back end of a weekend doubleheader. Yesterday's was a little rough and rugged at times, and today's has proved to be a little rough and rugged at times. We're working the third full course yellow of our 30-lap, 100-mile sprint.
I think I jinxed class of 2026 when I told them they were doing so much better than class of 2025 on the full course yellows. As we see our Watkins Glen safety team has the 64 wrapped up and going. The band is already up. Hopefully these guys are hustling. I know these are long fixes when it comes to getting these tire walls back in order, and I know we want to see a whole lot of racing going here. The crew at Watkins Glen has been hustling, and we've been putting them to work a lot this weekend.
Especially that spot, right? They've rebuilt that same barrier like 3 times.
The Laces of the Boot is one of the most treacherous corners in North America as far as its ability to catch you out. You're going down such a steep hill, and so not only is it just because it's such a steep hill, it's because so many other corners here you're braking up a hill. So your brake bias feel and the pitch, the amount of roll that car is going to get and the amount of weight that goes forward means that car is going to feel different under braking. So not just different of the challenge of braking down a hill, but the fact that it's good in the rest of the corners, and then you have to be ready for it to be so potentially treacherous and turn in a little bit earlier and slower hands there to make that be you're walking a much finer line to get that corner just right. And when it goes wrong, there is no room on the exit there to correct and make your day a little bit better.
And by the way, looking at that 64 car for Matt Gray as they towed it by, the value of that safety barrier, because that damage didn't look incredibly heavy on the back end of that car for the size of the impact we saw. So safety measures certainly important. And again, we've seen that same spot on the barrier hit like 3 times in the course of 2 days racing here at the Glen. So we're working our way now down to 6 laps to go in the scheduled distance. And we've got 13.5 minutes to go in the time limit distance, so they're running neck and neck toward the checkered flag. Those two numbers are. And
yeah, it's going to be right borderline there if we get this in under the laps here.
Just listening to race director Tim Richter and race control sending some of the cars that are a lap down on the racetrack down the pit lane to be repositioned to get their lap back. That'll be Noah Harmon that will get a lap back. Harmon third in the championship starting the weekend. Had tough day yesterday and a tough day today.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a hit for him on the overall points as we look at this 27 in our drone shot. Zoom up here. Noah Harmon and Silverhair Racing. Obviously, Silverhair's been around, top-notch team, done a really good job bringing a lot of young drivers along, doing the same thing with Noah Harmon. Just not their weekend, unfortunately. The team car, Tanner Reif, just inside the top 10, trying to recover from a rough day and a rough finish yesterday here, as the rest of our guys are. This is the tricky part, Alan. This is the really tough part for the crew chief to get in their driver's head and have just the right amount of aggression, but also keep them from going completely crazy. When the green flag drops here, everybody knows this is pretty much the last shot. Restarts are the best time to make up positions, but also the easiest time to lose positions here. So sometimes a bit of over-aggression, as we've seen so many times, leads to one potential position gained is 3 potential positions lost. We're certainly probably going to see that repeat itself in a couple different areas of our restart line as we get ready to go back green here. And
coming to the green this time, just announced.
And that's what you guys are tuning in for at home. I know that's what I tune in at home for. This is the restart battles and the scrappiness of what the TA2 series produces is why we have these fans and why also these young drivers and vets alike get tuned up here and do so well when they move on to other series as they climb the NASCAR ladder or wherever their destination of choice is.
Okay, so coming to a restart, the green away with 5 laps to go in our scheduled distance and with probably about 10.5 minutes to go on the timer. Tristan McKee is the leader. Alonde is second. Ethan Tovo is third. Thomas Merrill is fourth. Laney Bice with a nice drive up to 5th position. Jace Denmark is 6th. Adrian Blastowski is 7th. Gavin Gleitzman is 8th. Joe Federer is 9th. Tanner Reif is 10th. Gian Buffamante with the recovery drive after the turn 1 lap 1 spin up to 11th. Tom Sheehan is 12th overall and the leader in Pro-Am. You've got Jackson Tovo 13th, Stanton Barrett is 14th, and Eric Caton is 15th. Cale Phillips is 16th and 2nd in Pro-Am. 17th is James Lebeco and 3rd in Pro-Am. Rest of the top 20, Aiden Dorvey, Doug Winston, and Christina Lamb. As we come to the restart here in just a couple of more corners. So, pressure on the leader, pressure being applied from second place. How aggressive will people behind them be? A lot of runoff room in turn 1, but if you're facing backwards, that runoff room is only helping you not damage your car.
We're about to see this action light up from 3rd on back. I think you're going to see 1, 2 be pretty chill, but I think the aggression factor, we're going to turn this up to 11 for Ethan Tovo, Thomas Merrill, Laney Bice, Jace on back. We're going to see some action here.
All right, here they come. 5 laps to go in our scheduled distance, 9.5 minutes on the clock. The green flag is waving, and we're back at it at Watkins Glen. The leaders charge downhill to turn 1. Ethan Tovo with a defensive line as Thomas Merrill charges him for the final spot on the podium.
Actually, cleanest restart for the top 15 that I've seen all season long here. These guys in line, tucked up. We're going too wide in the 7th, 8th position back here.
That's hairy. That's hairy.
That is questionable. That is tough to do.
They all get through so far. Up the front, Tristan McKee continues to see Alon Day in his mirrors. Day with a defensive line into the inner loop, as Ethan Tovo has stayed clear of Thomas Merrill and is trying to find a way to hang on to that podium spot. It'd be his first of this season.
His brother Jackson getting a great late model win just a week or two ago. Solid finish here, but big pressure from the veteran Merrill on the tail of the Dick's Sporting Goods number 10 Toyota Camry here as they work into the toe of the boot. Jackson shuts the door on entry, double apex for the toe of the boots, tries to pause that middle, gets a good drive off, really good drive off there. Good solid opening lap here from Tovo to keep the pressure both on Day, but take the pressure off of him for the 26. That battle's not done yet for sure.
Love the camera shot showing the cars going away and the back end of Thomas Merrill's Ford dancing around as he applies power and tries to guide it off the corner. Here has a look to the inside of Ethan Tovo. That's for third, while the top two run about a couple of car lengths apart.
Boy, Ethan brought a lot of speed into 9 and wasn't able to get to the bottom there. The 26 was able to do that and get a little bit of a drive off. Looks like the 10 is trying to square the corner off a little bit more to make sure he's got that run off, but Merrill's been able to keep with him here. We're going to have a battle as they throw the block down into 1, 2 wide. Merrill to the outside. Tough place to pass. He's going to lean on him.
Oh, throws it into the corner. Just can't hook it up to keep it there. And Tovo will hang on to the podium spot for now. This isn't done yet.
Absolutely not. And waiting in the wings right there is Laney Weiss, ready to jump, ready to pounce on that final podium spot. Good run up the S's there in the draft now of Merrill. Merrill's got to be defensive here. That's going to give Ethan just a half a heartbeat worth of breathing room here as we squeeze into the bus stop, as we see the fighting also on back 8th, 9th, 10th. There were 3 wide coming out of turn 4 there.
And now everybody through cleanly. And the lead steady between McKee and Day at the front of the pack. There it is, top 2, then the fight for third. This is the hot spot here. The 10 car is Ethan Tovo, the now 16-year-old, originally from the Chicago area, now in the Charlotte area, the Lake Norman area, pursuing his career, along with his twin brother Jackson. Then you've got the veteran from California, Thomas Merrill, the 40-year-old from Salinas, former winner here at Watkins Glen in this Q3 Architecture TA2 Series. Laney Weiss behind them. The first-year 19-year-old, the first-year driver, 19 years old from Jackson, Georgia, who's been building momentum. Her best 2 finishes of this season have been in the last 2 races before yesterday. She had another top 10 finish yesterday here on Saturday, and now seeing if she can find a way to move up from 5th in the final couple of laps.
Super solid finish. I know the GM folks have had their eye on her, working with her, trying to help her be good. You see her right to the edge of the track there, right down to that apex, right out to that wall on the track out here. Super solid run here. There is under 6 minutes to go in this race before the leader takes the white flag, so there is nothing being held back anymore. Everybody is 100%, could care less about where those tires go. It's time to go forward and push as hard as you can here, as we're 2 wide with Jackson Tovo and Joe coming through turn 1, bouncing over those curves here. Jackson Tovo trying to make up some space from the earlier mishap. He had to pull over, restart that car and get rolling again. Good job here as he's knocking on his door, trying to get back into the top 10 here.
That is the fight for 11th place for Jackson Tovo, also celebrating a 16th birthday with his twin brother Ethan. Jackson's car rebuilt after a wreck yesterday, this morning, to make the grid in time. Got into some oil from another car and got into the barrier at the inner loop. Remember, the car, just like we talked about a second ago, shut off at one point, fell back in line, and now he's rallying again. Looks like he's got a good run on Federo there as they come down into the boot. Federo forced wide, and Jackson Tovo will get that spot up to the 11th position.
I got to say, another shout out to Sheehan here, hanging right on there in 11th, 12th spot with veteran Stanton Barrett and Caton on their tail here, right in there. Again, we're mixing our Pro-Am in with our pros here, and that's what's always going to happen at the front of our Pro-Am field here. We want to give these guys the most amount of respect to be able to fight with these guys. We don't make them back off or pull out or whatever. They're just as much a part of the overall race as possible here, but good run for all these guys coming through here.
Quick reminder, as we get to the final couple of laps, you can accelerate your career in motorsports and start the search for your next opportunity. Visit racerjobs.com and view open positions across the racing industry. Or if you got a position to fill, post your job and get access to tens of thousands of applicants from across the Racer Jobs platform and help you find the right candidate for your position. Racerjobs.com, a racing marketplace built and managed by racers. So we have 2 laps to go. I think we're going to make the scheduled distance. in this one.
Oh, look at that. Perfect. Right on, probably within seconds there.
Within seconds.
They pushed their luck as much as they could here.
So your leader, Tristan McKee, will be looking at the white flag as we look at some of the great fighting happening just outside the top 10. That fight for the final podium spot has settled down. Ethan Tovo has gotten away from Thomas Merrill for that spot. Here's a race between Gavin Gleitzman and Adrian Vlovstovsky for 7th and 8th position, with Tanner Reif right behind them in 9th. And Gian Buffamani there in 10th.
A great comeback for both these guys. Tanner rebounding off of yesterday's damage, and Gian rebounding off of a lap 1, turn 1 incident where he's had to come through a whole lot of cars to get himself back into that top 10.
So the leader climbs up the hill. Spent a lot of time doing that here on a lap at Watkins Glen, climbing uphill and going back downhill. Here they work their way now through that straightaway leading to turn number 8. Make that hard right-hand turn, then downhill and back uphill for turn number 9. Buffamani with a look inside very briefly of Tanner Reif for that spot. And this again going back on at the backside of our top 10. No change for the Pro-Am lead. It's still Tom Sheehan ahead of Cale Phillips and James Lebeco, while our leader Tristan McKee comes through the final corner, and he'll take the white flag. And we're on the last lap at Watkins Glen. So it's McKee, Alon Day, and Ethan Tovo in position for podiums at the moment. Tom Sheehan still leading Pro-Am as we start the final lap. And for Tristan McKee, a weekend that could only be described thus far as an adventure is turning out pretty well so far.
It's finishing on a high note, it looks like. That's Spire Motorsports number 48 instead of his normal 28 from last year. Gamebridge on board there. A huge sponsor and supporter of Tristan through his career here with Spire. Great run. All he's got to do here with that gap, he's just got to be 98%. He can leave a half a second on the table the rest of the way home, but we still got a battle here. Teammates Gleitzman and Vlovstovsky fighting ahead of Reif and Gian Buffamani coming through the inner loop to the outer loop.
And the leader now heads around through the boot.
I think Alon Day right now is got to be, if he's smart, resign. Don't press too hard here. He's in the catbird seat for the championship. Probably going to come out with the championship lead.
He's going to have a big championship lead.
Yeah, with as many cars as we've got here this weekend, coming back and falling out on lap 1 is a tough one. Ethan Tovo, what a drive here. What an impression that this 16-year-old is making on the field. We know that the M1 cars have been dominant this year, so to come out with a different chassis, stick it on the podium, only going to be the second Toyota on the podium this whole season. Really, really good job for that young driver.
And to the final corner. Last season, he came in, he won the championship with 4 wins in 7 races. He's going to make it 5 for 9 today as Tristan McKee takes the checkered flag at Watkins Glen in the Q3 Architecture TA2 Series by 5 car lengths over Alon Day. Day will come out with a 44-point lead in the championship over Elio Meza as we go to next Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Canada. A huge, huge change in the championship today. And that orange car came through the screen just there. That is New Hampshire's Tom Sheehan, the Pro-Am winner today. Just his 3rd race of this season, but a former overall winner in Q3 Architecture TA2 Series racing is going to come away with the Pro-Am top step on the podium in this one.
I think that's his first win since Birmingham, Alabama at the end of the season last year. That's not too many races ago for him. He skipped a handful since then, but great job with Cale Phillips now taking a big bite out of Odrick's championship lead after this weekend with a win and a second, and James Lebeco coming home P3 in that number 89, stepping up from TA Sprint and making the charge here to come home with a very well-earned podium finish in the TA2 Pro-Am Series class here. What an awesome job. McKee, I'm sure, relieved after yesterday's drama. I know it's not nice to come back into the class that you dominated and not have the day that you expect, but to show up today. Good strategy in the race yesterday. Found a little loophole with everybody, as well as a handful of other cars did, on how to get that quick lap. It was smart, strategic, but then once he got on point and took off, it was kind of lights out here.
So Tristan McKee is our third different winner of this 2026 season in the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series, while he and the other drivers make their way back around to the victory podium. We'll take a break and come back and hear from our winners next. As the checkered flag is flown here at Watkins Glen International, it's McKee in Pro and Tom Sheehan in Pro-Am, your winners on this Sunday.
Rev up and get ready for race day with Mission Foods. The world's best racers and tastiest products come together to make every race delicious. Fully loaded tacos, fast wraps, piled high nachos. Whatever you crave, Mission will help you be race ready with easy-to-make recipes that will take your race day to the finish line. Keep your racing delicious and enjoy all the mouth-watering action. Brought to you by Mission Foods. Too fast, too tasty.
Big news for car lovers everywhere. Now you can get Next Gen at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. Every Next Gen formula is built with advanced ceramic technology, and that means a deep gloss finish, serious protection, and long-lasting durability for your paint. World-class racing teams trust Next Gen to protect their race cars under the toughest conditions. And you can trust Next Gen to protect your car every day. Find Next Gen ceramic protection at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get ready for race day with Stack Auto Lifts. The world's fastest racers and the most trusted garage lifts come together to elevate every moment on and off the track. From rugged 4-post lifts and powerful 2-post systems to space-saving single-post and scissor lifts, Stack Auto Lifts delivers strength, precision, and performance for every garage. Brought to you by Stack Auto Lifts, created by racers for racers. Proud partner of Race America for the 2026 season.
Welcome to RacingAmerica.tv. From the local short tracks to the road racing stars of Trans Am, we have you covered. Subscribe now for live access to over 200 grassroots races streaming all season long. Watch anytime, anywhere on your phone, tablet, or TV apps. Get a 10-year archive of grassroots races, plus behind-the-scenes NASCAR team coverage. And when the spotlight turns to Trans Am, Racing America brings you front-row access to the action. This is racing at every level. This is Racing America.
Well, the second end of the doubleheader weekend for the Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series is complete here at spectacular Watkins Glen International. And it's a familiar face back for the first time this year. On the top step of the podium, Tristan McKee is in our Jim Weed winner's circle.
Tristan McKee back in Trans Am and back in Cube 3 Architecture TA2 victory lane. The youngsters had a wild weekend, Tristan. It's been up and down for you, but man, you've run all around the country this year, get to get back in the car that you won the championship in last year. How much does it mean to be back in TA2 victory lane?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good, but I mean, this one really goes to my crew guys. They've worked their butts off this weekend. We've changed motor, rear end, steering rack a couple times, all kinds of steering components, radiator. I mean, ever since Thursday was the only clean day we've had. We've been breaking stuff the whole time and just having issues. So, but thanks to all the guys, Clint, Chris, Joe, just everyone, Scotty, Rick, everyone who puts a hand on this car. I mean, it was super fast the whole time. We just never could get any laps. So I knew we had the pace to do it. I wish we could have gotten in it yesterday, but obviously we had really strong pace today. And it just goes out to all of them. And thanks to Chevy, Josh Wise, and all of them for allowing me to do this, as well as Spire and everyone over there.
Congrats, Tristan.
Thank you.
Tristan McKee back in victory lane. We're going to take a step back here as Tom Sheehan is getting out of the 97 car right now. We'll give him a second to get his helmet off, and we'll have a chance to be able to chat with the winner in Pro-Am, who had a terrific race, able to survive a lot of the carnage that everybody else dealt with out there today, and ultimately able to go to victory lane for it for his first win of the year. Has run a partial schedule this year in the number 97 Ford Mustang, but all said and done today, able to get the big trip to victory lane in a race that shifts up the championship standings, both overall and in Pro-Am. As they mentioned, Alon Day now goes to the point overall in the championship standings, and also Jared Odrick, of course, having a rough weekend in Pro-Am, as Tom taking a moment here to get his equipment off, and hopefully we'll have a chance to be able to chat with our Pro-Am winner. And let's, as we wait for that, let's send it up to the booth for this final results, and we'll be right back down here.
All right, Nate. Waiting on Tom to fix that zipper so we can hear from our Pro-Am winner. And let's take a look at our final results from today's Cube 3 Architecture TA2 Series, round 9 of the season at Watkins Glen. Tristan McKee back in the winner's circle. Alon Day finishes second, big swing in the championship. Ethan Tovo with his first podium in TA2.
Very well deserved for the Tovo twins there. Thomas Merrill, I think that's two fourth place finishes in a row. He was fourth or fifth yesterday.
He was fourth yesterday, yeah.
So back-to-back, just missing the podium right there. I know that means a lot to that team. Lainey Bice, that's 2 top 5s in a row, or 3 top 5s in a row maybe. I know she was fourth at Road America, fifth today, a really good run yesterday. Jackson Tovo almost getting all the way back after coming to a complete stop on the track, almost getting back into another top 10 there. Joe Federal, great run. Tom Sheehan winning our deal there. Stanton Barrett, consistent as always. Eric Caton and the guys here. Tough days for some of these guys. Noah Harmon, Graham Jacobson. Graham with a new setup here. We were looking for a lot from him. Strong young man. I know we're going to see some more from him in the future here as we get going. And Jay Thomas, welcome to the series. Great fast run. Unfortunately, not a great finish on today. Looked like it was out of his hands there.
So there's Elio Meza, 31st after being involved in an incident on the first lap of the race. After contact with Tristan McKee, caused some damage, and Meza will drop from the championship lead at the end of this Watkins Glen weekend. All right, let's go back to our Jim Weed winner's circle, Nate.
Yeah, Tom Sheehan has gotten ready for us here and able to survive a little bit of carnage out there today. How did you do it? How'd you go to victory lane?
Yeah, so the race was a little chippy on the first lap there, going up through the S's, and tough day for a couple guys up there. It's like a gutter ball at a bowling lane when you get up in there. So felt for those guys, but we made it through clean, and we're running pretty good. Just kind of pacing the guys in front of us and letting some fast guys through that got caught up in that deal, and then just trying to hang on to them. And the car was great. I want to thank Mike Cope and the whole organization. I mean, Jason, Jamie, Matt, Mike, Travis, all the guys just did a fantastic job all weekend. And we had a good car yesterday too, just kind of got caught out in a little rules deal. And that's the way it goes. That's racing sometimes. Life's not fair, but it's still fun. So great day for Mike Cope Racing, and just happy to be here.
Congrats, Tom.
Thank you.
Alan?
Your Pro-Am winner today, Tom Sheehan. Nate, thank you. And so as we look down on the victory podium here at Watkins Glen, final thought on today's Q3 Architecture TA2 action from you, Andy.
An awesome, scrappy battle. Unfortunately, a little more contact than I want to see here for these guys. I might have jinxed them saying that they had such a clean run all season long, but still a lot of green flag laps, a lot of great action. 3, 4, 5 wide on the start here like that. Great to see some of our new podium finishers here. With Ethan Tovo and a great run here. Also some of our veterans up in the mix. Again, crazy action here. Again, Nathan Hearn showing up in that Toyota Camry doing a really solid job until a rear end failure. Jackson Tovo coming to a total stop here. Lots of drama with oil on the track. Alan, wild weekend.
Fun day, and we're not done yet. Don't forget, later today, the Trans Am Series by Pirelli is live at 1:30 Eastern Time for the back end of their doubleheader here at Watkins Glen. Come on back on Racing America and see more 1:30 Eastern Time today for the Trans Am Series by Pirelli. Thanks for joining us. See you in just a little bit.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of Racing America. We hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.